and welcome back to Lady Jane Books. Today I have a young adult book haul. It is officially spring here. I am so excited. The birds are singing, the air is crisp and clear, the flowers are blooming, and Lady Jane is buying some more books. I was totally bit by the book buying bug, and I've really been eyeing some of these, so I went a little bit on a binge. I did pay for all these with a gift card, so I'm not gonna make any more excuses. I bought some books. Let's talk about them. I've been in the mood lately to read some really good fantasy YA books, and I've seen a lot of these being very popular on BookTube and Instagram, so I decided to check some out for myself, and I want to share them with you, my dear viewer. Now, I know this title says Young Adult Book Haul, but I'm not sure if all of these are technically young adult books. I mean, I think The Shawshank Redemption is like a children's book, to be honest. Jane doesn't have the best judge of genres here. So let's get started. The first book that I purchased is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This was a Goodreads Choice Awards of 2020. Now, I have read the first book in the Luck series by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and I loved it so much. And everybody absolutely raves about her storytelling and writing, so I think this is going to be a great pick. I really don't know too much about this. I know it's about a girl named Poppy who is a maiden waiting for her ascension in this fantasy land. And she's very pure, she's untouched, she's not married, she shouldn't really be looked at in any way, I guess. But then she meets Hawk, who is a guard assigned to ensuring her ascension. And I'm presuming that they fall in love, and then that causes problems. Again, this could all totally be not correct, but it sounds really interesting. Everybody's been raving about it. I believe there is a sequel out now. I don't know how many books are going to be in this series, but it sounds really interesting. So I purchased From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. The next book I purchased is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. Louise is a witch who is hiding out to avoid persecution. And Reed is a witch hunter destined to eliminate all the witches that he can find. So you can only guess the debauchery that happens when these two have to wed. I love a good witch trope. I love stories about witches hiding out. I think this sounds so interesting and unique, to think about a witch who is in hiding and she's really trying to avoid death. And meanwhile, she has this arranged forced marriage to a witch hunter. Oh my goodness, this sounds so good. I have been dying to read this. I'm so happy I found it on sale. Serpent and Dove also is a series. I believe the sequel is out. Again, I'm not sure how many books are going to be in the series, but it sounds very promising. And let me just tell you, I am loving the witch trope lately. So a couple of these books do involve witches, and this one just sounds phenomenal. So I'm super excited to dive into Serpent and Dove. The next book that I purchased is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Now, everybody and their mother knows about this book. I know, I'm super late to the party on this one. I really wanted to read it, but then I convinced myself that I'm not going to buy books, and then I unconvinced myself and bought books. And so, of course, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to purchase this one. For those who do not know, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue is about a girl who makes a deal with the devil. She cannot die. That's right, she can live for all eternity. With a catch. The catch is that absolutely no one that she meets will ever remember her. So I'm presuming that this is about a girl who, she may live forever, but she's extremely lonely because every time people see her, they don't recall her name or don't know who she is. So she can't make friends in that way. And Addie has resigned herself to the lonely fate of solitude. until somebody remembers her name. This sounds so good. I know there's been a lot of controversy around this book because I believe it was marketed as a girl falls in love with the devil. And so people were thinking it was going to be a different type of story than about a girl who made a deal with the devil and then cannot be remembered by anybody she meets. So I understand that. I understand that seems a little bit like a trick. But knowing that, I'm hoping I can go into it and have a positive experience. People have been raving about this book since it was announced. So I think knowing that, I'm going to enjoy it a little bit more than if I had bought it during the hype of Girl Falls in Love with the Devil. I have also never read a V.E. Schwab book. I know. Why am I even on BookTube if I've never done that? Really. But I've heard really great things about her Vicious series and about other works. So this sounds really promising. I think it'll be a really great way to dive into her work. So I'm really excited to have purchased The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. The next book I purchased is Layla by Colleen Hoover. Layla and Leeds are in love, and life seems perfect. That is, until Layla experiences some horrific trauma. In order to help her heal, Leeds whisks her away to a cozy bed and breakfast. He thinks this is best for Layla and gives her time for rest, relaxation, and recuperation. However, Layla may prove to be a little bit more difficult than Leeds thought. And when Leeds starts to notice another resident at the bed and breakfast, he starts wondering if coming here was really the best thing for Layla. This sounds very deep. I know that Colleen Hoover has been so renowned for really emotional, deep, sad, heartbreaking stories, and this sounds like one of them. I don't know what type of trauma Layla experiences. I don't know if it's physical, emotional, mental, or anything like that. So having this idea of somebody on a path to healing and perhaps having a loved one not have their best interests is really quite terrifying to me. I think it is going to be full of interesting dynamics and drama, and I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to make me cry, I'm pretty sure. Put your bets on now if you think Jane's going to cry. I know there's been a lot of discussion around Leeds' motivation and if he's manipulating Layla and the situation and whether or not he's a good or bad character. So I'm really excited to see how this plays out. I think it's going to be really deep, really dramatic. I think it's going to blow me away, to be honest. So that's why I bought Layla by Colleen Hoover. The next book that I purchased is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Malisco. I believe that this is a fantasy novel in which twin girls, who are witches, are trying to lay low to escape persecution. However, when one twin doesn't show up for dinner, she is found brutally murdered. And now the surviving twin has to find out what happened to her. And in order to do that, she teams up with Wrath. Wrath is the wicked prince of hell. And together, they are on a mission to find out why her sister was killed. But when other bodies start to show up, they realize that all may not be as it seems. I have been dying to get my hands on this one. It sounds so good. First of all, the cover. Look at this cover. It's so gorgeous. I love the cover. I love the title. I love this idea of teaming up with a guy from hell. I don't know. Jane doesn't get out much. That sounds great to her. I love this idea of a witch teaming up with one of the gods of hell and finding out who's murdering these witches. Oh my gosh, it sounds so good. It sounds really fantastical and magical. Oh, it's gonna be so good. I'm so excited for Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Malisco. The next book that I purchased is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. Again, I do not know that much about this one because I really want to go into it blind, but I believe it's about a girl who is living in puritanical New England, and who is living at the time of the Salem witch trials. And I believe it has something to do with she's suppressing her powers because she doesn't want to be persecuted. And I believe there's something to do with the mom, that she either is persecuted or they believe she was a witch and wasn't, and she passes away. So this girl then goes on a journey to discover her own power. And when she finds a diary from her deceased mom, it starts to spill some secrets. This has been described as a type of feminist fantasy, which I'm really excited about. I've never read anything like this. It sounds so good. It was like the it book of last fall. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody was raving about it. And I love a story set in puritanical New England, especially surrounding the Salem witch trials. Again, I don't know if any of this is accurate, but if that's true, I think this is going to be one heck of a book, and I'm super excited to read The Year of the Witching. And the last book that I purchased for this book haul was Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. Cemetery Boys follows Yadriel, a transgender boy who wants to prove to his Latina family that he can be a brujo. And in order to do this, he must raise the dead. But during the ritual, Yadriel accidentally raises the spirit of Julian Diaz, who is the deceased school bad boy. And Julian is not going to be put to rest without knowing how he became deceased. So in order to put him to rest, Yadriel and Julian have to find out who killed him. This sounds so good. This was another one that was incredibly popular late last year. I've heard really great things about the writing. I've heard really great things about the storyline. I love this idea of raising like the school bad boy and finding out who killed him and why he's dead. Oh my goodness, this sounds brilliant. I'm probably going to keep this one for a fall read because I love this idea of cemeteries and rituals to raise the dead. Jane has a lot of interest, I'm just saying. So I'm definitely going to keep this one for the fall time, but Cemetery Boys by Adrian Thomas sounds phenomenal. And that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. I just realized I did my hair on the wrong way. Oops. Excuse me. Let's try this again. Everything's so funny. I was totally bit by the book buying bug. That's a great, wow, book buying bug. I'm good. Yeah, I like that. This is like the anti-spring cleaning. It's like a spring book haul. A spring YA book haul. There you go. Instead of like cleaning out her apartment, Lady Jane just buys more books. But they're all Kindle books, so it saves space, but that's not the mentality that we're supposed to have. Oh my goodness. The first book that I bought is... Excuse me. Ew. Ew, Jane. The next book that I purchased is The Year of the Witching. I don't remember who wrote this. Alexis Henderson. I just said I don't remember who wrote this, and then I looked at the camera and said Alexis Henderson. This week. Now I have read the first book in the Lux series that Jennifer L. Armentrout wrote. I love a good witch trope. I love stories about witches hiding out, and this sounds like such an interesting twist, being married to a witch hunter. So you have to be married to somebody who's literally trying to kill you. That doesn't sound cool. That sounds horrible, Jane. Why would you say that sounds cool? We're gonna do that again. The next book Oops. It's these eyelashes. I can't see anything out of these eyelashes. These are way heavier than I thought. I ran out of other ones, guys. I was just trying something new and I don't think it's working. Comment below if you think this is working. Comment below if you think my eyelashes are too big. Spoiler alert, I think they're too big. I never thought in my life I would be sitting here in an empty apartment talking to a camera asking, do my eyelashes look too big? I never pictured this for myself, so that's a sad existence. Moving on. This sounds really deep. I know Colleen Hoover. And I believe it has something to do with she's suppressing her powers because she doesn't want to be persecuted. And when Leeds captures the attention of another woman in the bed and breakfast, Jane. Who allowed you to do YouTube, Jane? Who allowed you? Who said this was okay? No wonder you're not monetized yet, Jane.